I am joined once again by DJ to talk about something that DJ and I have been meaning to talk about ever since we met. This is not going to be another review. This time is going to be basically me sitting back and relaxing and listening along with you while DJ tells us some anecdotes about his time on the set of Spider-Man Homecoming. Believe it or not, DJ was an extra in that movie, and we meant to talk about this ever since that movie came out, and we never got around to it. And DJ was like, I bet it's like it's like not interesting to people anymore because it's been so long. I'm like, no, we still need to do that, dude. People are gonna care. So DJ, how in the world? First of all, where are you, and how were you able to get on set? Where were they shooting?
So I live in Atlanta, and they just kind of the year before. That's where the story starts. My wife and my best friend were in Civil War. They got to be in, he was in the market scene in the beginning, and she was in the funeral scene.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
So that was crazy. But I didn't get into that one. So I said I was going to try next year, and because Spider-Man's my favorite superhero. So I was really excited to get into that one. So there's just like a casting call that my friend sent me. That's just like online. I think it's projectcasting.com or something. And you just send in your picture and your measurements and stuff like that. And the director, if he likes you, just picks you. He said he goes through and picks just some different looking people. And somehow I made it. So
when you said next year, how did you know they were going to shoot in Atlanta again?
Oh, they shoot all of them in Atlanta.
Wow.
Ever since the first Iron Man, they've shot them here.
So are they shooting most of the photography there, or just certain kinds of scenes, or?
Yeah, they shot everything for Spider-Man there, except for they shoot in the city, and then they shoot at Pinewood Studios, which is also near Atlanta. Yeah. And then the only things that they didn't shoot were the New York stuff, like specific on location stuff, and then the Washington, D.C. stuff.
Yeah, because you were telling me last time we talked about this that there was going to be no making landmarks look right in Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised. They do a lot of things. The big famous, it wasn't actually in the movie, but there's a big famous Marriott hotel that was in the trailer. I don't know if you remember that. Vulture flew down this big like shaft giant hotel, and it never made it in the movie. That's a famous Marriott in Atlanta that my wife's been to many times, and it was really weird. I don't even know where that would have went in the movie because there was no. He didn't go to their hotel, so I was.
Well, we'll have to talk about that because when we talked about this last, you said there was a lot of that where you were like, "We shot this part, and I don't know where you would have even fit that in." How was that in the narrative?
Yeah, there's a lot of that. We can talk about that.
So, to kind of break down for us, like what scenes you were in. I know you were mostly in the high school stuff, and what stuff that you shot made it in, what didn't, and are there any specific places where we can see you for sure, definitely large and in charge? Okay,
go jump right into it.
Yeah.
And please ask as many questions as you have because I don't want this to be just me talking the whole time.
Sure, of course. Go ahead.
So yeah, I was in. The first thing we did was we shot a lot of hallway scenes. And the very first scene we shot was the very first scene of the high school in the movie where the principal, who's the great-great-grandfather of the Howling Commando, grabs the he grabs the drone. He actually cut his hand in that scene, and we had to like rush him over to the little first aid kit and get him fixed. But that they were loving that. The director was having a lot of fun. They were just so excited that they had a drone in the hallways and stuff. He was a really fun director. But yeah, we shot a lot of hallway scenes. We shot a lot of they shot a few classroom scenes. I wasn't in any of the classroom scenes, but and this was the first school. I'll tell you a little later. We went to a different school at one point, but yeah, we shot a couple hallway scenes, and then we went to the shop class scene, which was the coolest scene for me because I got to actually talk to the actors and actually be a part of the scene right behind the camera or right behind Peter and Ned. And
yeah, so was that the only scene where you directly got to talk to Tom Holland?
Yes, that was the one. We were kind of in there for like 30, 40 minutes. Maybe even an hour. And between takes, we would just talk, and he was really cool. He was super professional. He stayed in his American accent the whole time, which is really weird because then like after we finally stopped shooting, like it would start coming out a little bit. Like you could tell that his British accent was coming out. So, but yeah, he was really cool. He was super nice. He he always apologized if whenever he messed up a take. He always shook people's hands and thanked us for coming out, and just really class act. He was really cool.
Yeah, you told me that at one point there was like a rubber hammer, and you asked him what it was made of, and he hit you with it.
Oh yeah. He the little mallet that he's hitting the shocker gauntlet with in the yeah. I said, is that rubber? And he said, yeah. See, and he just started like hitting me in the shoulder with it. And he was like messing around, pretending to be the double wielding hammer guy from the Raid movies, and he was fun. Just a 20-year-old. I mean, just like one of us. Really
yeah,
cool.
like he sounds like a real fun kid, but at the same time, he also sounds like he knows that like he's the star of the movie, and he seems like a real class act from what you told me about him.
Yeah, he was. He definitely was. He was the only one that. So they actually, I got to meet some of the other kids too. Betty Brant, Liz Allen. That was my first scene I shot. You know the slow-mo scene where she's walking out, and it's like the scene where he sees her the first time in the movie, and it goes all slow. I was right behind her in that scene, and because I was in the first thing they did when we got there, they split us up into like clubs. Like there was the drama kids, homecoming kids, sports kids, chess club, stuff like that. And they put me on the homecoming planning committee, and so we were all walking out with her and Betty in the slow-mo scene, and we shot it a couple times, and they said it wasn't working, so they dropped a couple of us out. So in the final cut, there's only the 2 girls with her, and they dropped me and this other girl. So that was a bummer. but no, it turned out good. They were really cool. That's the girl from the Nice Guys.
Yeah,
and she's Australian, and she's
that's really cool. You got to meet her. She's really impressive in that movie.
Yeah, she was like, she looks like she's like 12, but she acts like she was super professional, very adult. That sounds weird, but she was really cool.
So it's really funny because since you were there, you wouldn't have had what I did with Betty Brant, where I was like, "Who is that?"
No, like so a lot of the kids I met there were also huge Spider-Man fans. I met this couple that I still keep in contact with all the way from California. They came out, and he was a huge Spider-Man fan. So we were all trying to figure out stuff, and we were looking. Their stand-ins had the name tags, so they weren't there all the time. You know, the stand-in where they stand there and get the lighting right before the actual actors come out.
But they had name tags with the character names on them?
They had Betty and Liz on them, so we knew that right away.
Yeah, that's great.
Because we shot this summer of 2016, so a whole year before, so we knew all this stuff. Couldn't tell anybody. Like I said, I found out Shocker was in it because he was in his gauntlet was in the shop class scene, and just a lot of cool stuff that
and they revealed that to us real late.
Yeah. I was holding on to it forever, but I don't know if they would actually caught me if I told anybody, but I wanted to play it safe. But yeah.
So you probably didn't see Keaton at all.
No, he was not there. We like I told you this before. Like I said, we went to 2 different schools. The second school was where we shot the homecoming dance and the cafeteria scene and the gym class scene. Mm-hmm. And when we shot the homecoming dance, there was black garbage bags all around the walls or all around the windows, so you couldn't see out. So everything was just shot there, and then I'm assuming they shot the outside scene where with Keaton and Tom Holland in the car. I'm assuming they shot that in New York with the actual New York school out there, or at least somewhere else. We didn't shoot that with anyone.
So maybe all his scenes were shot somewhere else, and he was never actually in that city.
Yeah, probably. That's what I would assume.
Well, that's a bummer, but it's really cool. All the guys you got to see, and again, you did see the guy who played Ned, of course.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He was really good.
You got your Spider-Man mug. You were all ready to go.
I know. I actually turned some of my Spider-Man movies, but the lighting's so bad you can't even see them.
No, I noticed that.
Trying to get on theme.
I've got Venom, but I didn't even do that on purpose. That just happened when I was wearing today.
Well, yeah, it's bound to happen. You film so many videos and you have so many comic book shirts that they line up eventually. That's
right. That does tend to happen. Yeah. You'll be like, oh, that wasn't even on purpose. People will think I did that intentionally. I did not. Tell us about. Okay, so answer a question I asked you a minute ago when I gave you like a million things to talk about. Is there any place where you could take a still of yourself and see it your face?
Yeah. Well, So here's the thing: you can see me in the shop class scene, but I am wearing So this is cool. I didn't even say this. I'm wearing a welder's mask. I've never
Oh.
welded in my life. I had no idea what I was doing. They had two of us. They grabbed us both because they needed people that were over 18 to work the machinery. So me and Micah.
Oh, wow. So you got lucky you were able to get right in the camera because of that.
Yeah, yeah. So they threw me in, and the special effects guy who's done all the special effects films since Iron Man, the original Iron Man.
Wow.
He actually showed me how to weld in like 30 seconds, and then they started rolling, and I just had to. They gave me this little piece of metal that I just had to kind of weld over and over and over, and we just did that every take and just kept shooting. So I'm there, and I have my welder's mask up, but I pick it up. I kept picking it up and putting it down just in case. And it's actually when you first the establishing shot in the shop class scene is when I have it up, so you can see me a little bit.
That's awesome.
It's nothing crazy. I'm actually more excited than being seen. I'm more excited that when I was welding one time, you know how they do that little handshake in the little secret handshake? As they were doing it and we were doing the closing shot of that scene, after the director said cut, he said that looked awesome because the sparks were flying right behind your hands as you did your handshake. So I actually like contributed to that scene, and that's the one that made it in the final cut because my welding.
So those were your welding spikes.
Those are my sparks.
That is spikes, sparks. Excuse me. So that is DJ's claim to fame. He got the sparks in that scene. He made that happen.
I contributed.
Well done.
But yeah, that was in the trailer.
And you had never welded before. He's like, look at my brilliant welding skills.
No, actually, Tom asked me. He was like, he thought we were like professional people that they put there. He was like, so how long have you been doing this? I was like a minute. I just learned. But it was really fun. We had a good talk, and we had a really awkward handshake at the end. I told you about this.
Yeah.
You know how you go in for a shake, and then they go in for a dap, and then you don't know which one to do, and you keep doing this.
Yeah,
we eventually like settled in the middle and just kind of went like this, and he said, let's just stay here for a minute. And we just stood there awkwardly holding hands, and then he walked away. He was a really cool guy. I had fun.
That's awesome. No, I'm really impressed with how much it sounds like he had kind of command and presence of his own set. You know, being that young, and because you hear about like movie stars that have been doing this for a long time, and especially people who were stage trained, who know how to create that atmosphere because all eyes are on them. I wonder where he gets that from, and how he already has that at that age.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about his filmography. Have you looked into it? Has he done a lot of movies before this?
I haven't either, and I don't know if he's done any stage or not.
Yeah, he might have.
But I mean, he has to have done something. He clearly can't be like the kid who played Ned, where he just came off the street.
Yeah, probably. But he, I think it was also to do with the director. I think he was really good with the new kids because a lot of them were new. The girl who played Liz and Ned were really new, and they seemed kind of nervous. But him and the assistant director, they really had like a very laid back thing. We shot scenes over and over and over when they messed up, and he never lost his temper or anything. He never rushed them, and it seemed like a really cool shoot.
Yeah, he was just in short films and had little cameos and things before that. You're right. It's likely that it was just his relationship with that director. Maybe he got some good pointers about how to be, you know, the star of your movie.
Yeah,
on set.
And he worked with the Russo brothers probably a little bit for.
Of course, sure.
But
yeah, maybe he wouldn't have had as much of a sense of what to do with the set like that if he hadn't already been in Civil War. Which you have a lot of people who complain that he's kind of just thrown in that movie for a few minutes and it turns into kind of a Spider-Man movie for a minute and then he's never seen again. But we probably got a better Spider-Man movie before because he was of the experience he got making that movie.
Yeah, I mean, you work with Robert Downey Jr. for your first scene. I think that probably
immediately elevates you.
Yeah, elevates you up a little bit. So, but no, it was a really cool set. All the kids were super like late. Like there was no famous people. Like Tom and Ned were the only ones who didn't eat with us. So we ate in the cafeteria, all the extras, and the kids just ate at one of the tables, all with us.
Wow.
Flash Thompson, all the what's it called? Decathlon kids. Even Zendaya. I'm not
wow,
sure.
even she was there. That's really interesting.
She was there. We actually the scene where they pulled me out of the homecoming scene was the scene, or they pushed us outside because we were they were shooting and we went out to the back and we saw her coming out of her trailer and getting ready. All the trailers were just right behind the school. Like it felt kind of like a low budget movie. I mean, I know it's not. It's a huge movie, but it just, I don't know, it was real homey. We all just kind of wore our own clothes. Like it wasn't like a big production. They did throw makeup on us, which was a little weird. Like right before we walked out, they actually gave me a haircut the day of, and like shaved the parts that I missed of my beard. None of us, I didn't say anything about that. None of us were allowed to have any facial hair at all.
Oh, weird.
Like I know a lot of kids in high school do, but they wanted us all to look super young. None of us had, and I was 25 at the time, so I don't know how I passed. None of us could have facial hair. There was like a no shorts rule. Everybody had to have pants on. If someone was wearing shorts, they like threw them to the dressing room and made them wear pants because it's supposed to be homecoming season.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah. But speaking of homecoming, the homecoming dance, I told you about this. We shot a lot of dancing, like a lot. And it was like upbeat, like happy dancing. And there was like a pan shot of the whole gym. And we had to kind of move around as a mob because we didn't have enough people to fill the gym. So we just moved over here and then moved over here. Still a lot of kids, but it wasn't full. And but then none of that was in the movie. I don't know why we shot. We shot these comedic scenes, which I still got to show you. I got to get you to watch the deleted scenes. The decathlon teacher, who's like a comedian, and Hannibal Burrs, the gym coach, they were both at the punch table and they were just like doing a couple takes, saying some jokes. And I got to stand right behind them. Another scene that I was in that got cut out.
That's nice.
It was they grabbed me and this girl and put us in front of, there was like a fire hydrant on the wall and they didn't want it in camera, so they literally just stuck us in front of it, and we got to shoot all those scenes, and those are in the deleted scenes. He's just saying a bunch of jokes over and over, and but I don't know where those would have went because that was a very somber, serious scene after he just talked to Michael Keaton. So it's like,
that's really weird. It's like they got a bunch of coverage, but not just coverage, like improvisation in scenes that it wouldn't have gone anywhere.
Yeah, well, if you watch the deleted scenes, all of those scenes are kind of mashed up in this little comedy montage. So I don't know if they meant to do that from the beginning.
And you said there were a number of things that you were looking for in the deleted scenes because you were there when they shot them, and they didn't even put them on the DVD.
So we shot an overnight scene there's two overnight scenes. There was for the kids anyway, there was a party scene, obviously, at Liz's house. And then there was which was super short, like maybe like 2 minutes in the movie, barely in it, but it was a whole overnight shoot. There was an overnight shoot where we shot the homecoming court. You know how there's not just the dance for homecoming, there's the court where you actually walk on the football field and stuff. We shot some stuff overnight on the football field, and I don't even know where that would have fit. That was the whole scene.
That stuff?
I don't know. I actually wasn't there for that shoot. That was an overnight shoot. But a couple of the people that I met were talking about it, and they shot a lot of stuff there. We shot a scene in the hallway where we all had to like disperse and go to our classrooms when the bell rang, and then he lifted up the lockers. Like they had this whole locker row on a hydraulic that lifted all the way up, and he would lift it up and throw it under. Throw his costume under and then shut it, which he does in the movie, but it's in a different place. And in this scene, Ned was there, and he sees the other costume because he hadn't seen his second costume yet, and he's like, "You have two," and he says, "Can I have one?" Which they worked that line of dialogue into a classroom scene later. So they must have realized that this scene wasn't working, and they weren't going to put it in. Maybe that was a last minute thing. I don't know.
It's really interesting when that kind of thing happens organically, because you've seen it both ways, where you'll have things like some of the stuff that got moved around in Daredevil for the theatrical cut that you saw with the director's cut, where you went, "Oh, okay, it didn't make sense," but it actually does in that version. It's interesting when you see things that are like intended for a different context and get thrown into another context, but it actually totally works. There's some of that in Days of Future Past.
Yeah. Yeah, I still haven't seen the road cut, by the way.
It's really interesting. It's one of those things where it wouldn't have been the cut to put out. I get why they didn't do that. It's not a director's cut, but you learn a lot about what they changed and really clever maskings and things that they did. It sounds like there's a lot of that with Homecoming too. Yeah. Maybe we'll get the welder's cut of Homecoming. Put all my scenes back in. Tell me about the thing, right? The DJ cut. DJ, tell me about the thing with the bathroom.
Oh yeah. So This is kind of weird. There's a scene we were
Like
shooting.
you don't want to talk about it, but I thought it was hilarious.
I'm secure in my my. I don't even know what I would be secure in.
You don't have to finish that sentence. I don't know.
Sorry. Edit.
Oh no, this is all staying in.
But yeah, there was a scene where we were shooting in the hallway and we kept shooting it over and over and over, and I really, really had to pee, and I finally just ran up to one of the crew members and asked him if I could run to the restroom, and there was one actually in the hallway we were shooting, which is cool because you're shooting in a school, so there's bathrooms everywhere. So he said, "Yeah, go in there real quick." So I ran in there, and I noticed when I was in there, all the doors were torn off, and there was like paper up on the wall, like they were painting or something. So I was really confused. Then later on, come to find out when I saw the movie, that was the scene, that was the bathroom at the end where they shot the Happy scene.
Yeah.
When Happy comes to the school and the doors were all blue. They had repainted them blue to match the school colors in the movie. And that was totally the bathroom that I peed in between takes. And I also, I remember the other scene, this is weird, all this bathroom stuff. We went to the other bathroom in the other school. There's another bathroom by the trophy case where Peter asks out Liz to the homecoming dance.
He proposes to her to go to homecoming. Yeah. It's a homecoming proposal.
Yeah, but that bathroom that he comes out of right before he asks her that with the hall pass is I also use that one. So it was really cool that we could just like walk around the schools and use them like while they're not shooting. It was all real. There was no like sets, at least for the school stuff, obviously.
I was gonna say, because it's weird, because like when you see the movie, you're like, oh, I was in that set. Oh, but that's because it's functional. It's not a set. Plumbing and everything.
Yeah, and most of the kids who were on set were kids from, it's Grady High School is where they shot. That's the first school we went to.
Well, I was going to ask you about that, like why they even really had to go after so many extras if they were in a school already and they could probably just use kids that went there.
Yeah, it was during the summer, so they couldn't just grab kids, but they probably made an announcement, I'm assuming, and like all the kids who wanted to come came, but they still needed more. Like they had a bunch of us there.
Yeah,
a lot of us were people who were coming in from other states. I was local. I just had to drive down. But yeah, there was a lot of kids. I say kids. There was a lot of us. I'm not a kid, but
people young enough to get away with. But like with you, I totally see, like, even if they didn't have that caveat where you weren't allowed to have a beard, I totally see why they wouldn't let you have one, because like that probably is because when I was a little younger, if I was completely clean shaven, I looked way younger than I was. But if I had any facial hair at all, I looked more my age.
When I shave, I look a lot younger. That was the one time that me not being able to grow any facial hair at all came in handy, because I can't grow a beard to save my life. All I can get is this little stubble. But yeah, it was fun. It was a weird experience. I'm hoping that I can get in this year. I'm 26 this year.
I was going to ask you.
That's the cutoff, and I don't know if I'll be able to go in for shooting because they're shooting this year. But I actually know so it's Tammy Smith Casting is the people who do the casting. It's not actually Marvel. They hire out the casting place, and I know the kid who's kind of like, she's not technically his aunt, it's like a family friend, but Tammy is his like family friend. They're super close, so I'm hoping he can get me in there, because I met him on set and we're still friends. We still message each other and stuff, so hopefully.
Well, good luck. So when you say this year, are you talking about for the next Spider-Man, or?
Yeah, this summer I believe they're shooting. I think that's what I've heard. That's the rumor. So
have you tried to get, because you said they shoot a lot of those movies there, have you tried to get in any other movies? I
haven't. I signed up for Civil War with my wife, but I didn't get into that one. But that's the only one I tried.
Okay.
I have a full-time job. I'm an adult, so I probably shouldn't have even. I had a really cool job at the time. They let me off to get into the.
Oh, wow, that was nice. Yeah, that ends up being like being on a reality show or something where people don't always think about that. It's really impractical to take off like 6 weeks to go live in a house somewhere and be on a TV show. Not all of us can be lucky enough that we work from home or stay at home parents or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just got off work. Luckily, I'm a graphic designer, so I can kind of work away from home as long as I have my laptop. So, and they let us have our laptops on set. I don't know why. Like,
wow, that's kind of surprising, because you'd think they wouldn't let you have anything that would go out to the internet.
Exactly. They took all our phones as soon as we got there in the morning. We signed up, we turned in our phones, then we got breakfast, and they took all our phones the whole day. We could get them for a little bit to like send a message and give them back, but We weren't allowed to
Maybe
keep
they
them.
shut down Wi-Fi so that like it wasn't a big deal if you had a laptop because you just couldn't get on. But phones
Yeah.
are nice because you could still possibly call out.
Yeah, but the weird thing was we weren't allowed to take any pictures with our phones. If they caught us taking a picture, they would like force us to delete it. They threatened us a lot. But
Yeah, I bet.
I had my iPad and my laptop with me. I could have taken a bunch of pictures. I didn't, but it was really weird. I had all my stuff.
Yeah, you're an honorable guy, DJ. You could have tried to sneak those in, but he was above board. He was following the rules, that guy.
So when I went in for my fitting, this will go along with me being an honorable guy and wishing I wasn't. When I went in for a fitting, color outfits. Like before, it was like 2 weeks before shooting. We had to pick like 7 school outfits. I just brought like my whole wardrobe in a bag, handed it to them, and they picked 7 school outfits. They picked a homecoming outfit, like a suit. They picked a party outfit for Liz's party, and then we picked a swimsuit because there was people swimming at the party. And then they gave us a PE shirt, like with New York. I don't know what his school's called, but whatever his school's emblem is, a blue shirt with the emblem right on it. And I wanted to take it so bad. It was a really cool shirt, but I couldn't bring myself to. I didn't want to get I didn't want to get busted.
Yeah, and they never let you keep stuff like that.
It was a really cool shirt though. And
well, that's cool. You had to wear it anyway.
Yeah, everybody got one. You see them in the PE class scene, the blue shirts with the circle on them. They give us shorts and stuff. My friend got an actual school hat to wear in that scene. But yeah, it was.
That's cool that you at least got to like be on set with and listen to Burris. That's pretty neat.
Yeah. So
he's a really funny guy, and I thought he was just wonderful with the whole Captain America thing.
Yeah.
Because it is him, right? That says he's a war criminal now.
Like he's pretty sure he's a war criminal. Yeah.
That's the best. That's one of my favorite lines in that movie.
Yeah, that was great. And he actually wasn't Captain America. That they hadn't played the actual video. It was just like a blank TV screen, and they added Captain America in later. But they did tell us what was going to be in the screen, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, I learned a lot of stuff.
You should talk about that because you don't like spoilers.
No, I don't. I don't watch trailers. I don't look at screenshots. I don't watch anything. And this was a really weird experience for me. So yeah, I found out Shocker was in it. I found out he was the villain. We already, I think, knew Vulture at that time was the big villain.
We knew that really early.
Yeah.
Even when Michael Keaton was still kind of like seemed pseudo rumor territory, it still seemed like that was probably going to be the villain.
Mm-hmm. And we knew Betty, we knew Liz, we knew Ned before the trailers knew that and everything. I knew that Liz leaves the school.
But we didn't know he was going to be Gank, actually.
No, we did not. I mean, I saw him. I knew what he looked like. But
yeah, you must have seen him and been like, wait a minute, Ned Lee. Like that. Now, did you have that thought? Because I don't know how into Spider-Man comics you are. Did you look at him and immediately be like, wait, they got a guy to play Gank named Ned?
No, it was weird. Yeah, I actually had just read Kraven's Last Hunt right before that. So yeah, I was really confused.
But were you familiar with Miles Morales stuff?
A little bit. I haven't read
the fact that kid looks and acts exactly like Gank. Like once you saw him on set, if you were familiar with that, because I mean I don't mean to stereotype people, but like he's the spitting image. And then once you saw him on set, if you knew that character, you'd have to be like immediately like, oh, okay, so they gave Peter Parker Miles Morales his best friend.
Yeah, they did a lot of mixing with names and characters and stuff. It was cool.
It ultimately worked really well, I think. Despite the fact that I still would like a honest to God, Miles Morales live action movie, and then that gets weird now because maybe Gank would be the thing that would like tie them together, where he's both of their best friends.
Yeah, we find out like in the 3rd movie that he just has this other friend that he wasn't telling Peter about.
And then Miles Morales calls him Gank for some reason. It's like a nickname.
That's a terrible nickname.
Ned Gank Leeds.
But yeah, so I forgot what I was saying, but there's a lot I can talk about. So
yeah, I was going to ask you what else you wanted to talk about.
In the second school, we shot at a cafeteria. We shot a lot of cafeteria scenes, and that scene also didn't make it in the movie. There's the only cafeteria scene in the movie is the very beginning where Ned and Peter are just like staring at Liz. But we actually shot a full scene with the whole decathlon at the lunch table. Flash was eating with them, and we were all really confused. We were really confused why Flash was hanging out with them all the time. Like all the scenes we were shooting, he was like hanging out with them, and I was like, Spider-Man fans, we were why is Flash eating lunch with them? But it's a totally different take on Flash. He's at a nerdy school, so
yeah, and like he doesn't like them, but he's in a group with them.
Yeah, he wants to be on the decathlon team, even though he's not probably qualified. But yeah, so we shot a couple scenes there. I'm in the background scene of that scene too. We got to walk behind, and it was like a full scene. It was, they got their lunches, they walked down, and then they sat at the table, and there was a lot of conversation. And that's where they split us up into groups to like the ROTC kids and the drone club and all those clubs again. So we shot a couple scenes there. We shot a scene, some scenes in the library, which I guess was the final scene of the movie, which is where they spoiled that her name is MJ. So I'm glad that we didn't hear that. That was like a closed scene. There's no extras in that scene. It's just those guys. But we were right outside the windows.
Yeah, they kept that so hard under wraps that, like, of course they didn't let any of you guys in there.
Yeah. But yeah. Do you have any questions, like, besides specific scenes?
No, I mean, I think I kind of knocked everything out. Like we got you to talk about some scenes that didn't make it in the movie, and I mean, the main thing I want to know is what some of those actors were like, being around on set, and we talked about some of them.
Yeah, they were really cool. They were eating with us. We actually got to get craft services some days when there was, not on like the big days with a bunch of kids, but when there were smaller groups of us, we actually got to go to the tent just like the actors and get craft services. Really good food.
Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, it sounds like they treated you guys really well, at least relatively for a set like that.
Yeah, it was super nice. The director was really cool with us. My friend actually was wearing a hat on some of the takes. In one of the scenes, like the hallway scenes, like a fedora, and the director like came over and like knocked it off his head and said, "Don't wear that." He was really particular, so he actually paid attention. Like, he picked us out, he handpicked us all.
That's really cool.
And like, I don't know, he's a really cool guy. He seemed like he really had a vision for what he wanted to do. And even though he shot those extra scenes, he knew like where he was going to put them and if they were going to make it and stuff. So
yeah, I'm surprised by how many major behind the scenes people and in front of the camera people you actually got to interact with.
Yeah, Kevin Feige was actually on set the first day.
Really? That's awesome.
The guy I'm talking about, Dylan, who's from California, he actually saw him the first day with his ball cap on that he always has, and just walking around. I don't know if it was just kind of like an introduction because it was the first day of shooting or something, but he walked around and talked to people for a little bit. So
that's really neat. And you said you didn't really get to see any stunts because it was mostly in the school stuff.
Yeah, other than, I mean, they they lifted up, they had the hydraulic scene with the lockers, but I don't know if that's a stunt, more like a practical effect. But
yeah,
I don't think there is any stunts in the school. I wish it was like Amazing Spider-Man where they shot the whole lizard scene in the school. That would have been really cool.
Because you would have seen some actual stunt work, some like stunt guys get thrown around and stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, I don't think there's any particular stunts.
DJ, thanks so much for talking to me about this. And I've meant to do this for months. So was there any other like really cool revelations or anything that people are going to want to hear that we didn't talk about?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure I'm going to think of things right after I turn the camera off. If people want to comment to me ask me questions in the comments, I'll answer anything that I can. Like I said, we shot all any scene with students in it except for the Washington D.C. stuff we shot. So if you have any questions about that stuff, my friends were actually in the scene where they got on the bus to go to Washington D.C. So that was another spoiler that we got. We actually knew it took place in Washington D.C. before anyone knew that. Then we knew they were going there for the decathlon. And
and didn't you say they built like part of the building?
Yeah. So that was actually Pinewood Studio. So this scene is, there's just a couple kids, and the people that I met from California, Dylan and Lauren, actually got to be like just a couple of those kids in line, where Peter runs in. I don't know how familiar you are with the movie, but Peter runs in and he's running late and he jumps on the bus. So they got to be in that scene, and we knew that he was going to Washington, D.C. And they also got to be on Pinewood Studios. That's where they shoot all the, set stuff that's not at an actual location. So they had a Washington monument built, like it was like full scale, but it only went up to like 40 feet or whatever. It was just the bottom where they shot all the stuff at the bottom where he runs up and starts climbing. And the rest was like added in later with visual effects. And obviously, shots at the actual Washington monument. But so we shot that. They got to do some cool stuff there. Dylan got to talk to Tom actually in the suit a little bit, which was kind of
cool. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think of that. I guess you wouldn't have actually seen the costume.
Yeah, well, we saw the costume. We didn't see him in the costume. We saw it in the hallway.
Because of the hydraulic thing, right?
Yeah. He throws it in the lockers, but yeah, he actually got to talk to him, and Tom was talking to him for just a second, but he said he remembered him from the other day. So I don't know if he was being nice or if he's actually that cool of a guy that he actually paid attention and remembered people. And they, one of the kids that I became friends with, he actually got to get in the I don't know if you know about this. You know the machines that completely scan your body and make you a three-dimensional visual effect?
Yeah.
So one of my friends got to do that at the Pinewood Studios when they were shooting that Washington Monument stuff. They just needed a bunch of people. So they would just scan you completely, and they would use your likeness in the background of all the shots. So that was weird. Really I didn't get to do that. I wish I would have got.
Did your friends get to do anything like on the boat or anything, or was that all? I guess none of that would have been set work, probably.
Yeah, I don't know where they shot that. Yeah, I have no idea. That was obviously there's a lot of stuff that we didn't shoot. The New York stuff, and
yeah, it might have just been in New York. Yeah,
it could have been.
Which would make sense if Michael Keaton shot all of his stuff there.
Sorry.
What do you have in that Spider-Man cup, DJ?
It's just water.
Are you drinking Klingon blood wine? What's going on over there?
Oh, I'm sorry. We had a lot of editing in this video. I'm sorry.
Well, folks, thanks a lot for watching. We sure appreciate it. I think we're going to wrap it up here. DJ, last word. If there's anything else you've forgotten until just this moment, because I wanted to pick your brain and get everything from you.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd love to talk to you about the actual movie. I haven't got a chance to talk to you about that yet, but about the set.
We should do that at some point. Yeah, not this time. I just wanted to hear your experiences and what being behind the scenes on that movie was like. Because it's a real kind of rare opportunity to just talk to somebody who was actually there and saw anything about what actually putting the thing together was like. Yeah,
it was great. It was a really cool 2 weeks. Got there bright and early and shot all day. We got overtime and made it pretty good money. Not that matters. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, so I love being there. And just
I mean, I didn't even think of that part of it. Like if I'd gotten to be there, that wouldn't have even crossed my mind.
Yeah. They I think it was. I don't even know exactly what.
I mean, they have to pay you. Like I was almost on a reality show, and for the 2 days I was there, I mean, they pay you, but.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have even. But I wasn't there for that, and I'm sure you weren't there for that.
No, I mean it was just awesome being there. Like that's the whole reason I signed up, was so I could just say that I was there. Like I wasn't even worried about getting on camera that much. Just just the memories of being there was really cool.
But I had to ask you that because we would have gotten inundated with comments. Oh man, where's DJ? I got to know.
Yeah, well,
so everybody's going to look for you in the welding scene now.
I guess I never really answered that question. Yes, I'm in the welding scene. I'm in the background of a cafeteria scene. You can't even tell it's me. It's just my back. And then I'm in like a hallway scene. But the main scene that I'm in is that deleted scene on the Blu-ray where he's doing all the comedy stuff, and I'm in the background for like a good 2 minutes while he's just telling jokes. I'm just right behind him. But didn't make the movie. But it's a cool little special feature.
Fun. Yeah, but you're on a special feature. You're on a DVD. I mean, that's awesome. I'm not on any DVDs. That's awesome.
Oh, well, not yet. I mean, this is early in your career.
Thanks, man. Well, anyway, once again, I feel like we've wrapped this up 3 times. Thanks for watching, folks.
I'm just kidding.
And if you're just watching this video, we sure appreciate it. If you're watching the Omnibus, we're going to move on now to our next segment. DJ, we'll have you back again. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Thanks. See you later.